So, I guess I've just been I've been trying to feel around inside the ethereal plane to figure out where I'd like to start as far as my personal story goes, as far as my individual storyline is concerned. Both existing here in the three-dimensional material world and also existing in the quantum world, the world within me, obviously. So it's 7:30 in the evening, and so I figured this would be a really good fireside type story to start out with. Now, I'm not really the sort of person who would like to really start at the beginning in the sense of my physical self, because I feel that everything that I've done, everything that I've lived through up to this point is merely just a past life. Every moment that's passed has just become like a particle in my personal timeline, and I feel that there's things about my past that I'd rather not just revisit, because there's places that I feel are not relevant to who I am today. And one of those key things, obviously, to start out with, is family. Now, I live alone in my own one-bedroom apartment, and I'd preferred it that way. I've been preferring it that way for a very, very long time. It's just that I've had to make some choices that I wasn't very happy with, in order to get to that place right now, to where I am, to where I can no longer be influenced by my family, my biological family as is. I feel, because I have, Uranus in my fourth house, it's become more and more evident over the years, especially as I went through my first Saturn return, that I needed to be independent so that I could gain individual autonomy. Now, autonomy is really, really important for me because, after all, Uranus is in Sagittarius in my fourth house in my horoscope chart, and to me that means that having a personal philosophy, a very, very wide-reaching philosophy, to understand, how my life works within a certain framework, within a certain lens, as far as linking the lower animal mind with the higher spiritual mind is very, very essential. Now, of course, being raised in a very, very strict Orthodox religious family, such as I was, it's been very painful for me because, I grew up in a very traditional religious background, and it's been very important for me to really, really understand the world, understand the things that exist in that very invisible astral realm that, that can't really, really be narrowed down or watered down through that of Orthodox religion, whether it's Catholic or Lutheran or Methodist or, Baptists, and all the many multitudes of religions out there, that pretty much feed off one another and compete against one another. So for me, religious experience, understanding the world and understanding the otherwise supernatural and occult events that otherwise appear to be out of our control and that basically govern the forces of life behind the scenes, is something that has to be understood from a subjective standpoint, which is why religion, organized religion became very irrelevant for me, as I got older, and in particular, these last few years as I went through my Saturn return. So that's why, it's like now there's certain bonds that I've had to break free of, one of them, of course, is family. I grew up in a family of, traditional religious functions, toxic emotional codependency, just like my mom's Hungarian side was more smothering, my dad's Germanic side was more emotionally callous, so it was like, my emotional life, the life that governs, the necessary energies that help to nurture and sustain homeostasis for me are why I'm here right now. And as it is right now, my living space seems a bit blank, but it's, gradually going to build and gain more character, more color, more dimension. And that's, the reason why, this being my cocoon can help to preserve a boundary between my home life and the wider world outside of me, which basically means that I have a greater chance at accessing my inner life much better and being able to nurture the animal within me. And it's right now the first step that I've had to make in being independent is learning to cultivate a relationship with the animal within me. The side of myself that governs the most primal needs and desires, which are necessary for eating well, getting enough exercise, getting enough sleep, restful sleep, and especially having just healthy relationships with good people who are very supportive and loving and understanding of me as an individual and who do not oppress me or impose any sort of confining and limiting functions on me, to adhere to a certain worldview of society. It's like I believe that I am my own king, my own emperor, my own president, whatever, and that the only force that I serve is the universe, under an oath of love. And so anyways, figuring out what home means to me, I guess in a cosmic sense, and then trying to bring it down to the material world and make it a real, tangible fact is where I'm working on. Those are my root chakra issues right there. Just working on my root chakra home life right there. And this is obviously where, I begin the function of ascension, starting from the root chakra, starting with the animal needs. After all, it does govern, the stomach, the abdomen, the digestive organs, unless that's the sacral chakra. And again, the chakra system is something that I'm still trying to figure out as far as like how it applies, in a physical sense, as well as how it can be understood in a spiritual sense. But yeah. Anyways, yeah. I guess